kind of annoying because they're one of the early loot bags that you can usually have a fairly low amount of HP, but give a pretty decent amount of experience for that, lower tier, that lower middle tier. And usually they're a great enemy to go after, but not today. Not at least with what they have.
Yep, we've got MisterHomes over here tangling with the Metal Scorpions now. 31 experience a pop, so trying to make up a little bit of this ground. He's only down about 270 experience right now, but again, up to NG with the hand axe, and now Chainmail is going to have an opportunity to stretch that lead, or stretch out and start exploring one or the other.
So it looks like up2ng, oh, nope, he's back to the grind. They're both grinding on the same exact desert tiles. It's very interesting, considering there's only, like, one really good enemy in this zone.
I mean, I think it was Metal Scorps and Wolves were here, so, I mean, they're both fine.
Yeah, I guess the Wolves are here, too. I was thinking of the Metal Scorps, but those are pretty good enemies to be fighting with what they have.
Yep, up to NG still sleeping the Metal Scorpions to sort of extend his time on the field. So we've got MisterHomes catching level 7 here, and going to see that beautiful 0 hit points at level 7 that we missed before.
0 hit points? Wait, I know someone that loves it!
Thank you for carrying me, Highspirits.
Hey, you gotta show some love to the entire... Oh, there he is! MTI makes an appearance! We just had to call him out using, the MTI calling card.
Level 8 for up to NG, 1 HP, or 1 strength, 6 agility, 5 HP, and 6 MP, so not super great. Also no spells, so we're pretty magic devoid still here at level 7.
So, yeah. I wonder something real quick. Is MisterHomes farming these wings to potentially buy a hand axe?
Possibly. They do sell decently. They sell for 35?
Yeah, and only needs 150 to get a hand axe. So I wouldn't be shocked if he's grinding wings in order to get a hand axe.
Has precisely enough HP to make the trip to Brecon with 1 hit point remaining. I'm gonna hit up the inn first, and yeah, it looks like he may go and sell some wings here, grab some armor possibly.
So I also want to throw out a quick shout outs to our tracker today at The Wicked Viking and our restreamer, CD Improv, who I would like to point out went and got ice cream, and I sure hope she brought some for the entire class.
MisterHomes is 1 set of wings short of the hand axe here, so we'll see if he decides to grab a chainmail or try and make a little bit more money first. Looks like making money is the plan.
Yeah, he bought himself some Red Bull, but he had a broken top on it. Didn't have any way to open it and get those wings.
Warlock will put him over the top though here. The big 50 from the body of the wizard here.
Yeah, surprisingly, no one's bought any herbs yet. I mean, this is a great time to go out and start exploring with a full stack of herbs. I feel like there's a little bit of lost potential right now.
MisterHomes doesn't know that specters are incredibly dangerous, so hopefully he gets out of this one okay.
Well, if it stays asleep the entire fight, I'm pretty sure that unless it rolls over in the bed, which I don't think it's going to do because he's flying, he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, Spectre takes a nap, shows MisterHomes its belly, and MisterHomes hits it with a club a bunch of times, and now he's going to upgrade to a hand axe.
Yep, and up2ng finally goes and buys herbs. So I think he is getting ready to do the exploration to see what he can find. That's the whole point of buying the herbs, is so you can go out and start looking.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't be a white mage, you can always just buy one at a shop. Wait, wrong randomizer.
Hey, white mage for 24 gold is a steal. In the remakes, it's only like 10 gold, so it's even a better.
MisterHomes strikes out slightly east of Breckenary, sees that that's the end of the land there, and then gets caught by a wizard who, plunges him into darkness and sends him home.
So up2ng pretty much just confirmed that he's going to explore because he just bought a bunch of fairy water. Unfortunately, fairy water is only going to ward away enemies if you have a good defense, and 30 defense means it's only going to ward away the lowest of the lowest of the lowest enemy.
Yep, that's kind of how it goes, but, it looks like he is going to get a field here, and MisterHomes is going to head into the desert for another 40 days and 40 nights, I guess.
Yeah, up2ng might go back to the desert now. Might be saving those until after the grind. Getting to level 9. He only needs 160 more to get. Bye, Invenerable.
You will be missed, friend. I mean, up2ng is not above using the herbs to grind either, so, just keep that in mind.
Yes, Paradigm, this is game 2 of possibly 3 of the grand finals of the Summer Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament 2019. You got to get all those words out. If up2ng wins today, he will be this year's champion. If MisterHomes can get the victory, then tomorrow night will be game 3, the decider match, here on the RPG Limit Break channel.
Alright, so MisterHomes working a 270 experience deficit, just cracks level 8 here, and looks like he's committing to more wolves, which, trying to keep the experience gap close. He doesn't know that there's the experience gap, but I think in his mind he knows what's going on a little bit here.
Do you think if this was any other opponent other than up2ng, MisterHomes would be out exploring right now? Because I feel like this is kind of odd for him to be in this kind of zone at this point in the game to keep grinding. I think he's playing the player right here, knowing that, hey, I might want to grind a little extra because I know that my opponent is probably grinding instead of actually exploring and finding stuff.
On the flip side of the coin, he did get burned in Race 1. Just a quick Race 1 callback is that MisterHomes ground to level 5 to start the match near Tentagel, while up2ng ground out to level 6. It just happened that level 6 had hurt him.
Well, good news for MisterHomes. Level 9 only has Repel, so he's not going to lose out.
HP and MP growing really well, though. One strength, 2 agility, but 8 HP and 10 MP, so we're looking at another low strength classic potentially here. 43 strength at level 9.
Yeah, but 38 agility, so that's not doing any better either.
Yeah, that 38 agility is also keeping our runners at home at this point in time. The ability to run from upper tier enemies is merely so-so at best right now.
So I'd like to take a moment to talk about the real losers of this level 9, and that's all of that poor fairy water sitting in up2ng's bag. With that repel spell, now all it's doing is taking up bag space. That could have been used for the greater good somewhere else.
He can still use it, it doesn't, go bad.
You sure there's not an expiration date on it? Because stuff never works for me when I need it.
I mean, some things just don't work. That's kind of how it goes.
Will someone please think of the fairy water?
It comes from fairies.
This was version 2.2, he could just chuck out some monsters.
Yes! Thank you, Mr. Migru. There is a beta or right now alpha, we should say, for the next version of the randomizer, which hopefully by the end of the year or early next year will be the full version, and there's some good added things into it, like some of the improvements from the remakes of the game where you can throw fairy water and torches at the enemy. So up2ng could have a lot of hurt spells in his inventory right now. Unfortunately, it's just wasted fairy water. And yes, CD Improv, I did kill the first Dragon Lore fight with a torch when I first did it. 6 to 9 damage for the...
So Mr. Holmes has ground up enough money to grab a chainmail, so he's going to get suited up here with a little bit of extra defense now. So gearing finally equal, other than the dragon scale.
Yep, gonna take his 10 defense, take 2.5 less damage from attacks. And let's see if he actually is gonna head out now or grind to the next level, because probably wants some money for some herbs now. And that elusive dragon scale.
He's not going up towards the desert here. It looks like he is headed straight to the east.
You mean there's more to this world map than everything we've seen so far? I felt like the world was already too big. See, he agrees too. He just went back to the desert.
Scratch
Man,
that.
there goes my monologue. I had a whole sob story monologue ready about to go, and then he just U-turns and goes back to the desert.
Maybe he saw how close he was to level 9 and just decided, I'm just going to sit here and hammer out level 9. And up2ng saw that he was only, like 400 experience from level 10 and just decided to say, hey, maybe I'll just hammer out level 10.
No, he was doing it to spite me in my sob story. You can't cheer me up like that, Dem. Daddy.
I'm trying so hard, my friend.
Let me sob my not failed sob story.
Both of our runners just trying to make sure they've got as good a footing as they could want for exploration before they hit the road, because that's how these runners roll. Again, still find it interesting that Mr. Holmes did that one dive out to the east, found Hawksness, and found a town beyond Hawksness, and then just decided to say, I'm good, and started grinding for healing magic.
I think the problem was he wasn't sure how to get to that other town. Because it's on the other side of a river, and the only thing he had was a big swamp to the north, which, unless you can heal your way through, which he couldn't at the time, you didn't really have a way to get to that town easy. And Hawksness is basically a ghost town. It's Melmond, with a boss in it. It sometimes has a good item.
Hey, Melman sometimes has gold bracelets and protect rings.
So sometimes has a good item.
Exactly.
Poor Melmond. It's like the Brecconary of Final Fantasy. No one wants to visit there unless it has a hand axe when you're level 1.
And it looks like up2ng has found the last wolf he'll need for level 10.
And Mr. Holmes is going to pick up his herbs and probably get ready for exploration now that he's 9. And level 10 for up2ng gives him a lot of agility and 0 hit points. MTI loves it!
But more importantly, 10 strength and 27 agility. That is an additional 13 defense. That is the chance to basically run from anything outside of Sherlock tail tier enemies here. So he is going to hit and of course immediately runs a red dragon who decides to ambush it. Never mind. Who cares about agility?
Red dragon's like 27 agility? Ha! Let's see how well that works for me. So yeah, red dragons, for those who don't know, is the pretty much the strongest enemy in the game outside of the final boss, and is probably the hardest enemy to run from outside of the final boss. So we lovingly call him the fun police because, well, for us it's a great time, but for the runners that's when the fun stops.
Yeah, up2ng is going to give us the joy of seeing the rest of this world map, exploring, going out past the confines of Tintagel Castle, and, just got cut short.
To be fair, he ran into a dead end, so it was basically dead anyways, and oh look! Red Dragon decided to come back and give Mr. Holmes some love.
The red dragons are equal opportunity usually. They will pull over anybody and anything that they can get in front of. That's the knowledge that we needed there, the pop-up from our tracker tonight, Wicked Viking, showing us that red dragons they pull no punches, they don't know any better, they're here to kill. While up2ng has decided it's time to upgrade his grinding here, as he's moved on to sleeping Magiwyverns and taking them down with his hand axe. So, getting that really nice experience now.
Yeah, and it looks like MisterHomes did snake around that swamp and is going to find his way to that other town. Which up2ng, now that he's exploring, is going to notice those towns also.
Yep, we've got a Wolf Lord on MisterHomes' side going down. up2ng finds a Rogue Scorpion, then he's gonna try and sleep. It's fairly resistant, though.
Yeah, Rogue Scorpions don't have a lot of health, but they have a lot of armor, and they're hard to crack when you don't have a lot of strength, so... You know, without like something like a hurt spell, they take a little time to take down.
And they've got Baby Breath also, so they are torching up2ng. Does get it down for the 70 experience, 110 gold, but he took an absolute beating getting that.
And we get the Town of Coal, potentially a freebie item, which, you know, MisterHomes is not in a hurry to see, because he wants to go do some shopping first. See that there's a fancy sword and some tin plate.
Is this sufficiently shuffled?
Okay, so this is one of the rare times we get to do this. McGrew!
Hey, it's just randomly in the vanilla spot.
See, look at this. How often do you actually get to yell the name of the creator when something's not randomized, and he instantly responds to it?
Usually for free enterprise.
So, MisterHomes found the fairy flute in the coal slot, which is vanilla. It has one very important use. Well, yeah, very important use sometimes, and that's to put Gollum to sleep. Because Gollum likes music. And MisterHomes is probably so bad at playing that flute that he just goes to sleep so he doesn't have to.
I mean, Gollum also usually likes punching, so sleeping them is a nice safe way to run away. Speaking of nice safe things to run from, MisterHomes finds a cave, and gets the clamps put to him before he could figure out what it is. So he's got it on his map, but, you know, they're going to cart his body back to Tangential Castle right now.
The clamps! The clamps! I'm gonna give him the clamps!
I mean, I guess it's more the jaws. The jaws of... well, not life. What's the opposite of the jaws of life?
The jaws of Red Dragon?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Doesn't, you know, like, roll off the tongue as well. Usually by the time you say the whole thing, you're already dead.
Yep, and knights have hurt more, so one of them gets in front of up2ng as he tries to run and just torches him, so he is gonna have to take the long walk back to the east section of the map here that we've...
MisterHomes is picking on a Wraith Knight, which is actually really good experience, especially if he gets it asleep. And that experience gap might start closing now that there's pretty much equal exploration and equal gear right now. Well, there's just one level difference, which is like 5 million agility, but otherwise, you know, this still could close up because no one really knows anything other than the fairy flute.
Yeah, exactly. MisterHomes, though, running a little low on herbs here, so he's going to have to, you know, possibly try and find his way to coal at this point beforehand, or he's just going to take the chance to grind on Wolf Lords here, maybe. He did find a nice enemy for transitioning into the, you know, mid to late game here.
Yeah, they love deserts so much that this little desert over here has Wraiths and Wolf Lords, which is more experience. And, you know, right next to, well, and Wolves, it's actually a pretty decent grind spot for him to get to the next level real.
Yeah, no, that is a really solid really solid location for Mr. Holmes now, and again, sort of getting up to that next sort of tier of fights. This zone map has been super friendly so far, except for the Red Dragons that are a little bit more afield, and the Axe Knights that are to the south that are in a zone that they don't need to go through right now.
Yeah, but they probably want to go through that Red Dragon zone at some point to see what that cave is, because they really don't know. They literally know where 2 items is on the entire map at, 34 minutes into the game. Yeah, they gotta start getting some knowledge soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mr. Holmes is just going to be 1 enemy away from level 10 here. It looks like up2ng is reloading, so making sure he's got a fresh set of supplies so he can hit the road again.
Wow, buying all of that fairy water. At least he's helping that young lady there stay in business.
He's conserving all of his mana for heal spells that he doesn't have.
For all of those all of those sleep spells. But hey, at least he's going and buying her chairs. Such a beautiful.
He is a gentleman after all. But of course, Mr. Holmes finds a Wraith, but is just out of supplies, gets tagged by the Wraith, and sent home 27 experience shy of level 10. Scorpion will cut that more than in half here, and up2ng has been gyrating in these 2 tiles for 35 minutes this seed, it feels like.
And it might be 35 more minutes if he doesn't get anything good at 11. Well, he gave up already, because he's using Repel right now, and he realizes that his defense is so high now that it just repels away all of the enemies in that zone.
Yep, so Mr. Holmes ticks over level 10 here, does hit that point, running about a 330 experience gap right now, but up2ng's on the map right now while Mr. Holmes goes to reload the old herb stash here, so wants to make sure he's got healing material on hand. So that little bit of work in the desert around Hawk's Nest did bring back about 200 experience of the gap.
Yeah, it's very close. Grinding in that zone that Mr. Holmes did gave him a big experience boost. And gonna restock on some herbs and probably go out and start exploring, especially with all of that beautiful agility that he just.
Yeah, he's gonna hit the road probably and try and just run from literally anything and everything that he can get away from. up2ng is still in the process of working down. He is feeling fairly close to level 11, I believe, which might be sort of causing him to just want to kind of camp out a little bit longer here.
Mr. Holmes ran into a stone man, which is actually not a terrible thing because he has sleep, but I think it might be a little ambitious to try to actually fight, because it's going to have over 100 health, and unless it stays asleep for a very long time, he could do it. I mean, it's staying asleep mostly. Okay, well, he tried.
No, he gets exacted, no less, by the stone man, tagging for 29 on his 29 health.
Yeah, stone men hit really hard. They have a lot of health, but they have very little defense. And that's why you notice that he could do in the 20s to what's considered a very late game.
Yep, their defense power is basically they're a big old mountain of hit points that you've got to work through.
They are basically a mountain anyways. They're just giant stone men.
Mr. Holmes about to get the bad news about Knights here, as the Knight's going to quickly torch him for 31, and he's going to decide the better of it and just sprint away here.
So maybe Mr. Holmes is going to make a run to that cave to see what's there. I can't see him sticking around and grinding, considering he's over 650 experience away from a level. So I think he's going to go make a run for that cave now. Got to do what you know.
And what he knows is to get out on the field and see the world as fast as he humanly can. So he's going to looks like he's going to stop at Cole to reload, just to reload health and maybe grab a couple of herbs, except that shop is kind of bad for doing that, so we'll see.
Yeah, Mr. Holmes has found a really good spot if he did want to grind over here. He would totally catch up to up2ng very fast, unless up2ng gets hurt more at this next level coming up shortly.
Yeah, getting stop spell wolf lords are quite nice here. So he's going to move up, he's going to go down, he's going to go...
And he's in the grave. He finds he finds a red dragon guarding the cave. Yeah. It was a nice cave while it lasted.
So it's now Mr. Holmes' grave, as his body is going to be left for dead, as he's going to get his spirit sent back home. That, of course, was a very rude first enemy to find, without a doubt.
So Mr. Holmes decides to save a few frames by casting the return spell instead of walking out, which is actually not a terrible thing when you pretty much only have magic to cast sleep.
Level 11 was 1, 1, 2, 1 stop spell, so level 11 basically blank here.
And up2ng is, not only is he not moving, he is continuing to sleep the wolf, although he damage breaks it. Probably, if he's going to stay here and grind, he's probably wasting a lot of time with all of this sleep. So, yeah. Needs to look for greener pastures, I think. It's getting too far now for these low-level enemies.
Yeah, Mr. Holmes is striking out. He's going due west and south of Tentagel this time, so walking along the western shore of the world, finds a Demon Knight, takes it down. So Mr. Holmes is just trying to find better enemies at this point to kill. He's going to sleep this Magiwyvern, so he's going to work that down here. So he's getting gap around 400 experience right now. So Mr. Holmes keeping it fairly tight, and we don't have Hurtmore at this point, so nothing to really get that gap out of control for a little bit.
Nope. These enemies are great for catching up on the experience. Magiwyverns are very weak to sleep, and they're worth 83 experience, so as long as it decides to take a nap instead of keep waking up, this is, he's just going to keep catching up on experience.
Yep, gonna burn his last 2 herbs, so he's gonna have to resupply his next time back, and we're gonna see what's down the western shoreline here. Looks like a little bit more swamp, mostly forest. Very idyllic, but nothing doing here. Oh, there is a cave, never mind. There is something doing down here.
Yeah, this is the cave that he got red dragoned from earlier. And it's the rainbow drop cave. Something he doesn't quite need yet, because he doesn't know much about the sea dragon.
Yeah, it's always nice to have that knowledge, though. Get it ticked off of the list, at least. So, knowing it's there is always useful. It's not, immediately useful.
I mean, who wants to go see that old man anyways? Like, why is he even used?
Well, we did not really talk about the goal of the Dragon Warrior Randomizer. Our runners are searching for the Silver Harp to turn into the Staff of Rain, the Stones of Sunlight, and Erdrick's Token, because they are big dang heroes. And they need to take it to that gentleman down there, who is not the nicest gentleman in video games. He's got a nickname in the community.
Lovely old man.
We'll go with that. I think that's catchy, but we might need something shorter next time.
Wow, you're acting like he's a jerk or something.
Well, if you do show up without all the parts and without the token, he doesn't realize that you're a big dang hero. He throws you out on your ass.
Well, I mean, I'm an old guy too. If you get on my lawn, I'm gonna get you off my lawn too. He's like, get off my lawn!
That's fair.
You damn kids! Scam! Scammer!
But just so everyone's aware, in that treasure chest hiding behind him, we don't know what's in it because he doesn't get out of the way of it, but he does hand you the rainbow drop from his inventory of things, which you can use in front of Charlotte Castle, which we haven't found because we've found nearly nothing in this seed so far. To create a bridge to go and fight the Dragon Lord, we will need to defeat the Dragon Lord to complete the run tonight.
And what's your prize if you beat the Dragon Lord tonight, Demery?
Well, for our runners, they will be rewarded with the Orb of Light, a legendary relic that banishes evil and brings light to the world. And of course, if up2ng wins, he'll also get the title of Dragon Warrior Randomizer Champion.
Of Summer Tournament 2019.
I was running out of breath. Thank
you. So up2ng is staying in this desert until level 12, which he gets at 3,000 experience, and Mr. Holmes is getting all of the knowledge. He at least knows where the grave is. He just has to contend with potentially red dragons saying no.
Yeah, up to NG is just very content getting this about 31 experience at a time as well. So he's just gonna keep chipping away and chipping away.
Oh, he's keeping up his experience lead a little bit, just because Mr. Holmes is spending his time exploring. But that's actually if... Oh, no, he came to the desert. Probably to get this level real quick, because he only needs, 11 experience before he gets disappointment.
Oh,
But
yeah, this is gonna
be
very disappointing.
I mean, he got 2 hit points. That's exciting. Think of all those enemies out there with hurt more, like the Drakis, and they have heal more and hurt more. You can now stop spell. You are safe once again.
Yeah, the big thing is that the longer up to NG grinds here, the more of a chance that Mr. Holmes gets one good run out on the map and is able to really make some distance here. Experience gap sitting around 500 right now, so basically about half of the way to level 12 here for Mr. Holmes.
Yeah, the big negative is even though up to NG has 500 experience point lead, he has almost no knowledge compared to Holmes right now. The only thing up to NG knows is where Hawksness is and potentially another town. Holmes at least knows where the grave is. If he can get through the red dragons, he has 3 free chests that he can get.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a philosophy difference going on in chat right now. A couple of the really good runners of this game, Lorgon is saying that up to NG should be out of field, and Lavkin is saying that Mr. Holmes should be staying at home grinding. So again, some major differences in philosophy out there right now.
You win some, you lose them all. It's. I think if they were gonna grind, Mr. Holmes has the better grind spot. Especially with Wolf Lords that are casting Stop Spell. You get basically a free turn at least on them. And it's right next to a town. I mean, if you're going to grind, I think Mr. Holmes has the much better grind spot than up to NG. And if he stays here, he will catch up in experience to what the up to NG is doing.
Yeah, I mean, even just finding Wraith is better than anything that up to NG can fight at this point in time, and they die just as fast. I mean, it's only a 2 experience difference, but the Wolf Lords are sort of the gem here. They're at 52. They're really kind of what you want to be fighting.
Yes, but the town on the other side over there, which if he went across the swamp to that desert tiles there, ruler on the right side of the river, right next to Cole. He could have the same exact zone and just have to hop and skip and jump right over to Cole. And he does know that because that's where he found the zone originally, was going that way. But, the experience lead is under 400 now. Although up to NG is 1 enemy away after this from gaining levels, so might get something good at 12. I mean, there's not a whole lot of bad that he can get.
Yeah, we're running out of time to get spells. All spells are assured by level 16. I mean, stats are not assured. You never know what you're going to get here in stats, but we're going to find out.
Heal more and a lot of health. I mean, that's enough to go see what the boss is in Hawksness, actually. Because you can, depending on what it is, you might be able to actually kill it with 97 hit points and 80 MP. That could be Erdrick's armor.
Very true. That is where the money's at here. So first 3 chests in Grave. We've got an herb, we've got a torch, and we've got an herb. So 3 blanks and no keys. So Mr. Holmes is going to be chanting outside, and he's going to have to get a little bit further out on the map to try and find something new.
Yeah, a grave comes with 5 chests. 3 are free. The other 2 require a small fee, depending on where you are, costing anywhere from 53 to 95 gold in a magic.
Holmes gets away from a red dragon there, so he's going to find that there's nothing on this little peninsula here. Up to NG, of course, finds a Star Wyvern, which he is going to be happy to fight at this point.
They have Stop Spell, the Star Wyvern. So if you cast Stop Spell first, that could be free experience. And if he goes over to Cole Beta Strep and gets the Fairy Flute, he can even have an easier time with Golem.
Demon Knight gets the better of Demon Knight puts up2ng to sleep and gets the better of him here. So long nap for him there.
And Mr. Holmes goes to another cave that he found, and he finds the Freebie Cave. One chest way at the bottom with no monsters, and always a disappointment unless it's the last chest you look at and then it has something important.
Could have Erdrick Sword.
It could have a magic key, which is also a very good thing to find because now he has access to a treasury and another cave in the back of the castle. Plus, he's going to explore a little bit more until he runs into a red dragon.
Yep, Droll Magi here for up2ng. Experience gap is fluctuating a little bit, but it's down around 200 to 300 right now. So Mr. Holmes is starting to sort of flex his muscle here out on the map and is making some ground up right now.
He's getting a lot of these Magi Wyverns, and they're turning out to be really... Oh, do you know what we just saw there?
No,
we just saw a classic Sparkover Bridge.
A true.
It was disguised because, you know, there was something to the corner, but it was a classic bona fide Sparkover Bridge.
Sparkover, one of the most well-known runners of this game, of course, to shout her out. We love her to death. But of course, you know, she ran this RPG limit break. She caught a bit of a bad break in round of 32 of the tournament, as it does sometimes happen, but it does not stop the fact that she is wonderful.
Yep, and in the community, well, if you look at the emote that Invenerable brought up, a Sparkover Bridge is a bridge that leads to one useless piece of land. Why? Because she always got excited to see it. And we called it a Sparko Bridge.
So Mr. Holmes, just shy of level 12, takes a death outside on deep in his... Magiwyvern refuses to stay asleep, so I guess it's time for him to... This is going to be time for him to cash out here, grab a full set of keys behind Tentagel, look at the armory. You know, we're going to get the full look at what that key is going to offer him.
You know, this late in the seed, you know, it might be worth checking for a gold grind, because he knows there's a flame sword, and he knows, I believe, there was a silver shield in Brecconary. And at least full plate in coal. I mean, there's some good gear out there in the two towns that he knows about. There's not too many difficult enemies between those two towns.
Yep.
So if the opportunity arises, you might look for a gold grind here.
Yeah, it's always a bit tough. You know, you're a little bit deep in the seed here. It looks like we've got, yeah, he's going to enchant outside because that is Swamp South side here. So he's going to immediately pop out to the north side and start exploring.
Yep, if you are in the Swamp Cave has two exits, north and south. If you use the outside spell, you go right to the north outside the north exit. It's a good way to get through the Swamp Cave in a hurry, depending on which side you...
Yep, up2ng did find the Jerk Cave in his exploration, by the way. He is striking out a little bit to the east and south here. He finds, is this a new cave? Have we seen this one before, or is this the Tap Cave?
This is a new cave. It's the Shrine, complete with an old man who loves playing music.
Complete with two towns as well. The key advantage is about to wear away. We have found Key Town. That is Rimmildar.
Yep, and the other town then will be Cantlin. Cantlin, because there's Garingham from Mr. Holmes and Sharlock. So they're both finding a lot of things right at the same time in different parts of the...
Yep, it's a very short hop across from Tantagel Castle to Sharlock Castle, and there's the big stick for Mr. Holmes. Put the sword in his inventory, a curse belt that he absolutely knew was going to exist in the game somewhere, and a set of wings, but more exciting, that is a 40 attack power sword, as that is his first game breaker here.
Yes, he gets Erdrick's shiny toothpick and finds the mountain cave, because that's the only cave that's left in the dark. So Erdrick's Shiny Toothpick, Mountain Cave. This is a good find for him and Charlotte.
Yeah, breaking out a bit of an edge here right now, but again, up to NG could close that at any time just by casting Return and heading for home. He's going to check the other town. He's going to find Cantlin. We're going to find out if we've got coordinates, most likely, here.
So I think this gives Mr. Holmes a big advantage right now because he now knows where every chest except for one is in the game. So now he knows where he can mostly dive to find the things that he needs right now. The stones, the harp, maybe the token if it's not on the search.
Yeah, I mean, the only advantage here for Mr. Holmes is that the only advantage for up to NG in this exploration is here. It's assuming he takes down this blue dragon, which he's going to whittle away with heal mores and play fairly safe, just to get rid of this blue dragon and pick up the 180 experience bounty here. The advantage that he has is that if the armor is on the search coordinates, then up to NG is going to be in great shape, but the mountain cave nets us the stones of sunlight. It nets us the second cursed belt as well, so now Mr. Holmes knows that the token and the overworld search spot are both necessary.
Yep, finding the curse belt is actually a lot of knowledge because in this game, there's 3 search spots on Hawksnest, the world map, and in Cole, and the 3 items that can be in there are the armor, the token, and the fairy flutes. But the token and the fairy flute can be randomized into chests, and if they're randomized into chests, they take out a cursed belt from the pool. So seeing 2 cursed belts means he knows that he might have to, or he knows that he's going to have to find Cantlin now because it's going to have either the token or the armor on the world map.
Yeah, Mr. Holmes not messing around with this red dragon this time. He's going to burn a lot of heal more resources here, but he's going to whittle away with the 102 attack power that he's got. So he is going to be our first person to get some petty revenge here on the red dragon crew for 255, the maximum amount of experience you...
Yep, and he was just a couple of steps away from a chest, which, by the way, he is not casting outside. He is looking to die and hope that there's a gold chest inside the treasury to do a grind.
Yep, up to NG, of course, is going to take advantage of his current position here. He's going to go ahead and give us those coordinates, which we know will exist at this point in time.
So will this old man be a jerk or a savior? And he looks pretty nice to me.
Yeah, that seems pretty free. I think they'll have to head to the west first and loop around. I don't know if you could get there directly from the east, but it looks like he is going to take a death here and head for home.
We found the silver harp in the treasury. We found, I think it was a torch. We found a fighter's ring, which is in the vanilla game, completely broken, but in the randomizer, it gives you +2 attack.
And there is no gold grind. There were no gold chests in here. Death necklace, fighter's ring, all of our plus strength items are here, but otherwise there's a whole lot of nothing for us, so no gold grind for our runner.
Yep, so Mr. Holmes just needs to find the shrine now to get his Staff of Rain, and he needs to find Cantlin. The good news is he's going to find both of them right next to each other. And he also knows that he doesn't have to dive the bottom of the grave because he has everything that could potentially be in chests. All he needs now are those 2 spots and to go kill the beast that's in Hawksnest.
Yeah, so he's going to douse that knight real quick here, and he's going to move on. We've got up to NG. He's going to reload, and if he keeps moving, which he will, he's a great player of this game, he is going to find the Swamp Cave South. Maybe he's going to go look for a grind tile in there. Or he's going to go to the other side of the world and figure out what's out there. One of the other.
So Mr. Holmes is going to make a run over here to Hawksnest to go ahead and fight the beast, because he can beat anything that's there now. And see if the armor or the token is there. And then we'll know on the world map at 20 south, 25 east, what's in that spot.
Yep, but it looks like, of course, up to NG has cast outside and crossed over to the other side of the world right now, so he is going to find Erdrick's sword if he just explores a little bit to the west.
Also, we got, I think this was not the search spot. This is going to be very close in experience, although he is killing, red dragon. Although up to NG is killing the Axe Knight, this is going to be very close experience now after.
Yeah, all of a sudden the gap has closed, and Mr. Holmes has a bit of an edge. The only thing he's missing is Shrine Cave and Cantlin. On the flip side of the coin, up2ng is about to get the sword and find the Mountain Cave, which will be really helpful, but he is still missing the Grave. He has found the Jerk Cave, so there's a couple things he's missing too as well.
You know, he doesn't need to find the grave.
You're right, he doesn't.
And-
Tokens on the search spot, though. We get teased.
Yep, and that red dragon there, by the way, is not a terrible grind spot. It's if you had just a little bit more strength, hit points, and you get that Erdrick's armor and a large shield, that's actually a decent grind spot for red dragon because it doesn't have any abilities.
Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna be able to get a silver shield, but large shield will certainly help. But Mr. Holmes, for the very first time, 59 minutes in this run since he was ahead 1-0, has taken the experience lead back.
And he just got hit by a hurt more from a Drakima.
Hey, well, he got his prize out. He's got his prize. He's gonna have to hit the road. up2ng about to get the big prize here. He's about to pick up the sword, and once he gets the stones, he knows that he is done with the outside world. Mr. Holmes looking to reload on keys, maybe do a quick second continent check just to make sure.
Yeah, we know that going to the second continent now won't be good for him. Needs to get back to searching, but he might be checking what's in the grind tile also while in the swamp for the end game grind, because up2ng very shortly is going to be in no mode.
Yeah, up2ng. Once he finds the stones, he'll have knowledge of everything in the game, because he'll probably get the second curse belt along the way. So he will be in complete no mode at that point in time, I think he'll be missing nothing other than doing the search. So up2ng looks like he might, even though the experience lead has shifted, while that was happening, the exploration lead has shifted to up2ng on the advantage right now.
Yeah, he made the right calls. He went the right directions. And that's how he's going to get his advantage back. He it worked out for him in this time with all that grinding because he went in the right directions. Sometimes that's all it takes in a randomizer.
Yeah, just completely whiffing Grave is oftentimes a death sentence, but in this seed it ends up being the greatest thing he could have done.
Well, he still needs to find the Rainbow Drop Cave, though. He doesn't know where that is.
Yeah, so he does have a little bit of work to do, honestly. The only thing is the Rainbow Drop Cave is pretty near where I feel like the coordinates are, which means that if it is west and around, that's also where the Drop Cave was, so he might find both the armor and the drop at the same time.
Well, we got level 13 on Mr. Holmes, and he got another little bit of chunk of agility. So agility's starting to look really nice, while the strength, this might be another level 17.
Yep, HP looking great. We've crossed the triple digits threshold here. We're at 103.
Oh, this is such a tease because look where the swamp cave brings you out is right next to Sharlock, just across the river.
Yeah, you got to do a little bit of work and go around, but hey, there it is, the Big C.
Yeah, that's such a tease. So you know where the swamp cave takes you on the world map. Actually, no. Oh, he's going in that direction anyways. My bad. I forgot. That's how you get. I blame being tired.
I mean, this race has been going for about an hour here. Of course, we've got up2ng ticking level 13 with the no strength, but again, 11 agility, a nice shot of hit point. MP is starting to look nice too. We're packing 10 heal mores right now, and up2ng is just going to crush some red dragons on his way to the stones here.
Also, I think Mr. Holmes did explore the entire second continent. I think it's time to go back, and he knows what he needs to find is on the first continent. up2ng won the first game of the series, so if he wins this one, he will take the championship this summer. And he's, experience is going to be close to tied, but up2ng now has the exploration knowledge once he can get these stones out of here.
Yeah, I mean, they're both just taking on anything and everything they can get in front of at this point in time. So we're probably going to see that experience lead just swinging back and forth until we reach the end.
Yeah, up2ng's not having a whole lot of luck right now. He keeps finding red dragons everywhere, which is good for experience, but he's gonna run out of magic soon if he keeps this up. And did he? Okay, he did get the stones. I was like, did he get the stones? I guess he did. I missed that part because I thought he was risking on killing that red dragon.
Yep, CD Improv asking, wait, up2ng didn't find Colt. No, up2ng did not walk down to the town that he saw next to Hawks. He has not found the fairy flute yet either. It is not in his inventory.
Yeah, so he's actually not entirely in no mode because he doesn't know exactly what coal is, but I think he's found every other town now, so I think he has to know that other town is coal, so he knows where the 3 search spots.
Yep, so Highspirits Puexel has a very important question, which is there a prize and or a meme for the tournament winner?
Yes. You get to be lovingly praised by yours truly, Highspirits, if you win this tournament, assuming you do it tonight. If it's tomorrow, sorry, you're going to have to get someone else, some other schlub.
I heard that you can get lovingly praised by Ferran Burgundy tomorrow.
That's a good person to get lovingly praised by. I will be so kind to say that you are decent at this game if you win the tournament. Because I am that nice of a person.
Thanks, Highspirits.
I didn't say you were, Dem. Come on.
Oh god, no, I'm not good at this game. What are you talking about?
By the way, Holmes found where he needed to go, so information is now equal. It's going to come down to the end game grind.
Yeah, this is what it's all about right now. These two runners in these 2 matches have just proven to be incredibly equally matched, and they are showing it right now. 2 very different styles, but they are both getting, they're both getting that good outcome. He sees Rimmelzar first, he's like, I'm good, turns right around, doesn't need that. Token for up2ng, red dragons dropping left and right. He throws some fairy water onto the search spot in order to purify it, and now he knows he needs to get to those coordinates to get himself some blue armor with a red cape.
Well, he doesn't know that yet. He sees that town over there. He needs to go over there and see if the armor is there, which he's not going to that town, which means he's convinced that he can't reach it. That actually could be problematic if he doesn't go north around that swamp. He might not realize that north around that swamp is how you get the coal. So he might be going south to see if he can find it.
Yep, MisterHomes, there he sees the other town, he's hiking, he's gonna find Cantlin in just a second, and then once he finds Cantlin, he's just gonna ship right home at this point in time, because he's gonna have some pretty solid to count coordinate.
Yeah, this is going to give MisterHomes the lead, actually, because he knows that Cole is a dud, and up2ng is going to be busy looking for a way to get into Cole. So this is going to give him the coordinates, and then he's just going to grind because he knows where the Rainbow Drop cave is. Remember, up2ng has not found the Rainbow Drop yet.
Yeah, and the big thing for MisterHomes right now is, does he stay here for just a minute and try and find a large shield? Because he still needs one. Or no, he picked one up. Never mind. We're good on that front.
Yep, he has a shiny shield. Not as shiny as the silver one, but still pretty good.
Yep, so up2ng has turned in his heart for the staff as well, and he is going to head back to Cantlin at the moment. MisterHomes is heading, looks like 25 steps to the east first, and then going to head to the south.
Remember that desert tile that they grinded in forever?
God, it feels like so long ago.
I know, and then they decided to start walking and doing this exploration stuff, and that's when the race just went downhill. We were all enjoying ourselves when they were just standing on those 3 tiles over there, grinding experience.
Beachfront property for everybody.
And no red dragons like every other zone in this map.
But MisterHomes taking down another red dragon. His experience lead is now about 500 experience points. up2ng reloading here in Cantlin. MisterHomes is on the count. First try, like a pro. There's a reason why he's a former champion. Picks up the armor, so he is in go mode, so he's a quick hike around to get to the Stones Cave. On the flip here, you've got up2ng returning home right now, and it looks like he's about to start the same process of counting his way, except he is going west first.
Yeah, he doesn't realize that he needs to go the other way, but Mr. Holmes hits level 14, gets the spell.
Big fire. The big fire.
The big fire. And good HP, the strength is starting to get up there. I guess the question's going to be, what's in the swamp tile? Because that would be the perfect grind if it's something like an Armor Knight or X Knight. Otherwise, I think that Red Dragon might be decent.
Yeah, on 79 defense right now, it's going to hit fairly hard and drain out your resources pretty quickly. But again, Swamp Cave close to home. You can Death Warp right from the throne room. So
So, Mr. Holmes, what is he up to? Maybe he's going to restock on herbs or heal. Maybe he's going to heal up because this might be in the direction of the Rainbow Drop also.
yeah, it might loop around. Unsure if it does or does not, but it might be a thing that happens here. So again, we've got up2ng sort of working his way to the south right now. Trying to figure out this step count and get himself in the right position.
Yep, so up2ng, wonder when he's gonna... Oh yeah, so he's gonna get his armor right here. I believe if he goes to the east, southeast range, he will come across the Rainbow Drop at some point. And, oh, he has to go north over the swamp, which he still hasn't done yet. Or is he just gonna grind here?
Go grind.
So he's gonna go get his experience and then look for the Rainbow Drop.
That is a very up2ng thing. That is a very up2ng thing to do. That's generally his stratagem in a situation like this. Is just he's going to need to get his levels at some point. He's got the armor, he's got the sword. He's looking to make a very quick, safe chase down to get the token, or the Rainbow Drop in this case.
I could see that happening, knowing that you're not going to most likely go at 14 with the stats you have. Also, I think there's a red dragon in the swamp trap tile, which is a better red dragon than the one up2ng is fighting, because you can just die, refill your magic, and go right back.
Well, so nothing separating these two grind tiles other than a little bit of distance here, 255 experience at a time.
Yeah, this red dragon is not a bad grind, especially if he gets like another 10 strength. This will turn out to be a pretty good grind. Red dragons as a grind is really underrated. If you have over 100 health and you're geared up and you have decent strength, it's legitimately a great grind.
Yeah, you're going to be channeling Heal More a fair bit, honestly, to get through it. But, it's what we've got this seed, and so both of our runners are not going to shy away from static grinding here. And like you said, 10 more strength is 121 attack power, which gets us sort of in the range of we're more likely than not going to get 3 shots on them, which is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, if you can kill one with 1 heal more and then just heal back up to full, and that's the dream. But up2ng is going to get his hurt more. And is he going to stick around here or go try what the swamp tile is?
Yes, he's going to plan on hanging out.
At least to burn out the rest of his magic. Might as well, but you'll notice Mr. Holmes now has a 1,000 experience point lead. And he knows where the Rainbow Drop is, so right now this is Mr. Holmes' race to lose, because the only place either of them are going to grind is Red Dragon, so we know it's not going to come down to the grind.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Holmes, if he doesn't get snake bit this time, might be in good shape right now. Go watch back that first race after this is over, everybody. If you didn't see that on Wednesday night, it was fantastic. These two runners are giving us a show of some really high-level Dragon Warrior play. Again, there's a reason why Mr. Holmes was undefeated until Wednesday, and up2ng made a huge run through the bracket from 4-1. So, please give both these runners a follow. They are, absolute top-tier runners for a reason.
Yep. And what we haven't seen yet that could be in Sharlock, AK-47s, the Armored Knights, and Green Dragons. Because we don't know if they're going to have the Wombo Combo Sleep Dragon Lord Breath or something. So far, you know, there's no Dragon Lord Breath in this seed. That's, you know, someone maybe out there has to, you know, breathe the flames of love.
I mean, at 79 agility, Green Dragons are probably pretty free runs, though,
No,
at this point in
you're
time.
still going to fail to run all the time. No. At 79 agility, no, you might as well be playing Benny Hill. You're just going to, you know, trying to run away from those things.
And speaking of exploration leads, the exploration lead is over. That is a rainbow drop for up to NG. So the Sun and Rain will meet on his screen first. He's got the drop on the drop, and he's got to catch up about a 1,500 experience gap right now. So he's down about 6 red dragons. Level 15 for MisterHomes to turn it back around. 17 strength, 2 speed, 7 hit points, 16 magic points, 128 attack power. We go. Is it time?
At 128 attack power, he needs... not yet. I mean, he can do it, but one more level is preferred. Because you generally want somewhere around 14 heal mores with 128 attack power. And right now he only has 12. So even with the health that he has, you probably want a little bit more help. Like maybe 2 more attack power would be perfect. Or another heal more would be decent.
Yeah, so, you know, we're dicing with it here at this point in time. So we've got up2ng back here in Hawk's Nest, gonna go back to work on the Red Dragon tile. Here, MisterHomes is heading south. He is beelining the cave that he knows is there.
He might be just gonna grind on the Red Dragons for a level in Hawk's Nest as it's on the way where he needs to go. But, maybe. Or he's just going to make the risk and dive. Which, could be problematic, because he's basically going to need some help to win with what he has. But it looks like he's just going to go ahead and grind another level.
Yeah, gonna issue the aggressive play here. He's gonna decide to sit down and get himself level 16. I mean, he could be doing either at this point. He could make a liar of us and just cast outside and cross over, but we'll see.
You know what would be amazing?
What would be amazing, Highspirits?
If you could replace the Dragon Lord 2 music with Benny Hill. Because doesn't Benny Hill make everything better?
You're not wrong.
Yeah, MisterHomes is grinding. He cast Radiant. You wouldn't cast Radiant to walk through the cave. Not you know, at a high level like this. He's just doing that so he doesn't have to worry about balking on walls and whatnot to figure out how to get over here. So he is going for 16, which will probably be the magic level. 2 strength, I think, would be more than enough, especially if he gets 2 magic with a 2 strength.
Yep.
I think that will definitely be good shape.
A dozen hit points theoretically puts us into Death Necklace range, but at 122 we might see a double as well. So, you know, again, the balance is sort of close there. The lead is right now 4 red dragons and a little bit of travel time.
So yeah, it's only 1,000 experience point lead right now, but you know, there is this potential question mark that up2ng could go at level 15. If he does and he wins, he would snipe this victory. Because he's going to get to 15 well before Holmes gets to 16.
Yeah, I don't know. up2ng is, again, he's a fairly risk-averse player here, so we'll see how that ends up playing out.
Yeah, if up2ng never actually got to see the dragons, or never got to see the grind spot in the castle, in the swamp, so that's why he's staying over here fighting these red dragons, which he might not actually level it. We'll see, because he only has 1 more heal more and a heal left. Okay, now he has no more heal mores. But yes, the next level is 9750 to get to level 16.
Yep, so MisterHomes about to be about 4 red dragons out as he continues to just get excellent move after excellent move on these dragons. I guess the old champ's luck kicking in a little bit here as he has actually gained 255 experience on this grind.
Well, good news, Demarine. Every time you kill a red dragon, you get 255 experience. So I hope he's gotten that a lot of times.
He's gotten 255 experience one more time than up2ng did in the same period of time.
Oh, okay. Now I know what you're doing.
7,500 experience directly on the Magic Wyvern's beak for up2ng. He's going to look at his stats at level 15. He's going to look at his spells at level 15. He's going to sacrifice himself to a red dragon to get home because he has 1 MP.
Sometimes you need to sacrifice yourself just to get that, to please the gods, you know, so you can get that luck as you're going to make the dive before you. Because he might actually be going. That's probably the only reason why he would take this Death Warp right now.
I mean, he'd have to get through a very, very tough Dragon Lord fight that he is probably not favored to win, honestly. It's going to be right on the cusp.
I would say it's got to be close to 50-50. Maybe slightly below. I think if he checks this swamp tile and sees it's a red dragon, he's going to stay and level. If he doesn't, he's going right to Sharlock. And MisterHomes is leaving because he's going to gain his level, hopefully, on the way to Garenham. He only needs 150 experience to get there. And up2ng is going to Sharlock, 1 level below. You know, depending on the dive, I don't know, we'll see what Holmes gets at this level here.
Yeah, we'll see. If this makes the fight free, then up2ng absolutely has to do this. There's 4 power, 1 agility, 7 hit points, 1 MP. The last spell is Original Flavor Hurt, which doesn't really do terribly much. So are we going to see simultaneous 1-level separate dives?
Yep. But MisterHomes has a much easier time ahead of him. So up2ng is just basically going to need to get there with full heal mores. And if he does, and he gets the good rolls, he can do it. But, you know...
But we are about...
he has no extra magic because he didn't actually refill the magic he'd have. Otherwise, he'd have 6 magic to work with, which is 2 heal spells. But he's getting very unlucky in counter rate right now, so that's not helping.
Yep, and so here we go. We are about to get a simultaneous dive of Sharlock here in this match right now. And we are going to see how this plays out right now. Rainbow drop for Holmes, up2ng at the Secret Passage right now, so 1 floor.
Yep, MisterHomes has 1 to 2 heal more. 1 heal more for sure that he can give, potentially 2, depending on damage rolls. Especially with 129 health, he could just Death Necklace if he wanted to. Although that would make things a little bit riskier because he would only be at 97 health with the Dragon Lord able to hit him for 49 or for 50. But that would put him in the range where he would only need about 9 heal mores to win. And he has, 12 right now.
Yeah, I mean, Death Necklace ends up being a real good play if there are red dragons down below that you're trying to break and run from, and you end up kind of sticking yourself with no choice but to try and dive. The only thing is, though, is that with the Death Necklace, because Swamp Cave is in the back of Tantagel, you only get 1 chance.
Well, Brecconary's nearby, so yeah, you'd only get 1 chance with the Death Necklace. But for those who don't know, the Death Necklace curses you! Yeah! Oh wait, it also does something else in the randomizer. It allows you to get kicked out of the castle anytime you try to go enter it. But it also gives you 10 attack power at the cost of 25% of your health. So at 129 health, MisterHomes would go to 97 health, which is enough to guarantee that he can survive a Dragon Lord breath every time. But if he gets max meleeed, then, he drops below the safe line.
So I've got a question here for you about up2ng.
Whose butt are we gonna kick? Oh wait, wrong randomizer.
Wrong randomizer. No, he is a very risk-averse player. He doesn't gamble terribly much. He goes for the sure things, and he likes to play to the grind.
This is the finals! You go for it!
There's no way he's throwing the Death Necklace on, is there? Does he go for, like...
No. not with 122 health.
This-
Mr.
this-
Holmes is the question. But the bottom floors, by the way, have armored knights, red dragons, and golems.
Mr. Holmes dispensing with the formality here and just decides to wail on the red dragon rather than try to run and fail a couple of times. So he's going to use up one of the heals here. So he's got one more heal spell in his back pocket right now. Up to NG is on the final floor, though. He has made it to the end. So we're going to see what's on the last encounter tile, the mini boss tile. Mr. Holmes 2 floors behind at this point. It looks like 2 or 3.
Yep, so up to NG has to win with this. Otherwise, Mr. Holmes should take it with what he has. There is an armor knight here. We don't know what it has. If it pulls out something like a heal mark. Oh, so up to NG went into the fight and got back attacked, so he's trying to run away. And, yeah, that's not going well.
Yeah, so he's going to get slammed pretty badly here, and he's going to burn off a heal more. He's on 11 now.
Should have just went for it. You know.
Never not go in.
This pretty much takes him out of any chance of winning now. He has a very slim chance to win.
Yeah, he does kill the Armored Knight. So, a very bad Death Necklace play could be happening right now, but he's going to heal walk right now. Mr. Holmes has reached the final floor. He's got a little bit of work to do here.
Ooh, heal walking the bottom floor with armored knights and red dragons flopping around. That's, so up to NG has a very slim chance of winning. He can do it. There's always the swag more, the 1 in 16 love. But, he's going to go into the Dragon Lord fight. There's 2 phases. The first fight is the little guy. Don't make fun of his size because he doesn't like it. And he will either hurt more, stop spell, or melee you. But odds are he will melee or hurt more you almost every turn because he has a 75% chance to do that. And the second phase comes down to 2 attacks. The Dragon Lord has between 150 and 165 health, and he will either melee for up to 50 damage, or he will Fire Breath for 42, 44, 46, or 48 damage. 50-50 chance for each.
There's an unfortunate break for up to NG as he catches the back attack to start. Now he needs 2 doubles to finish this fight.
He needs more than 2 doubles to finish this fight. His damage range is 7 to 14 right now, and if he's hitting for 7s, he's not winning.
Oh yeah, he's gonna need at least 3 doubles. Then you're right. This is gonna be ugly. Up to NG in a very dire spot, but he's got to fight it out. He's gonna try it. We might get a 150 hit point Dragon Lord. We don't know. Don't show us, please. And so we shall see. But there's Mr. Holmes. We know he's in great shape. He does get back attack, but he went in at enough health to get the first swing, and he has 2 heal mores ahead to start.
Yeah, up to NG rolled 3 7s and a 9 in his last 4 attacks, and he died. He was going risky. He had to take a risk, and he got high rolled. So, unfortunately, unless there's a menuing mistake, this should be Mr. Holmes taking this victory here.
Up to NG, just again, that was a big hard charging play, and you've got to respect that I think he knew against Mr. Holmes. It's game 2. You've got a 1-game lead. Mr. Holmes has been playing like a house of fire the entire tournament. You got to go for it there, and just comes up a little shy.
I think the big mistake was trying to run from that armored knight. He should have just taken the back attack, went for the kill. Because he should have known that, you can survive that, and instead he burnt a heal more and gave himself pretty much no chance to win.
Yeah, the Armored Knight was a guaranteed 3-shot with the 128 attack power, basically. I think real hard to not hit for 103 swings there.
It doesn't help that he rolled for 7, 7, 9, 7 in his last 4 attacks when his damage range is 7 to 14.
Mr. Holmes from 50 gets a maximum melee from 51 and gets tagged for 50, so he gets the safety check reminder there of, hey, I've got muscles and you've got no armor.
Yeah, but his damage rolls, I think he's already in like the 120s or 130s for damage. He's in great shape.
Yeah, he is basically there at this point. He may finish up. I think he'll have 1 heal more in the tank, most likely. Next puck letting us know it's at 139 right now. Next swing is going to take us over 150, 153 damage dealt. Everybody in chat, get your GGs out for MisterHomes and get ready to show up tomorrow night. We're going to game 3.
We're getting ice cream! Woohoo! I mean, congratulations to MisterHomes for getting a first place with an official speedruns live time of 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 34 seconds, with up2ng doing the immediate FF after the race. But congrats to MisterHomes bringing this to a game 3 tomorrow.
Again, another absolute back and forth, wonderful, wonderful match from these two runners, and I guess they're both going to have to sweat it out one more time for your entertainment.
For all of ours entertainment, of course.
I mean, are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? Sorry, I've done enough movie quotes tonight. I might as well throw it out. I had a lot of subtle ones in there that people didn't notice, you know? Had to fish it out there. Like, come on, everyone. Like, if Furon was here, he would be telling me, like, everyone, like, these are these quotes, you know?
Everyone's got a different style. That's kind of how it works, both in-game and in the commentary booth.
Yeah.
Lorgon's got it right.
You just make fun of each other, so we found out that works for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good style.
We made fun of each other?
No, we were good tonight.
Oh, I did pull your hair in chat, though, so that kind of counts for something, right?
Yeah, I got off to a bit of a slow start because my stream wasn't starting up, so I had to refresh it.
Oh, I did kind of say that you might not have been a good player, too, you know? Because I didn't praise you. So there was that slight of, comment.
If I came and focused on it, I'd probably be just fine. It's just I like to, dabble.
Well, we are waiting to see if they want to join us for an interview. It looks like they want to. We're just waiting for them to pop in. In the meanwhile, I'll continue to make fun of Demery, even though up2ng.
Yeah, you can stop making fun of me. We've got up2ng here. How are you feeling right now after that tough bounce at the end?
I mean, that was my only chance, was to win on that fight. I knew once I didn't win there that I wasn't going to win the race. I felt like I was probably not going to win anyways based on where the sword was. I was pretty surprised that I got to the Dragon Lord and he hadn't finished yet, so I guess that's all I could have asked for.
Actually, he only found the sword like 3 minutes before you did.
That's super surprising based on how I played it. I mean, as soon as the sword was there, I thought it was over, but that's surprising.
Congratulations, MisterHomes, for winning Game 2 and staying alive in this best of 3 grand.
Staying alive.
Oh, I thought Benny Hill was supposed to be the theme film.
Hey, GG, sir.
Thanks, up2ng. It sounds like this was, again, a super entertaining seed based on the feedback I'm just receiving.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm probably going to be criticized for it, but I took a very large ambush attack from the mini-boss, and I decided to try and run away to reset the fight, and I failed 4 times to run from it, so I was down like a heal more and a half, unfortunately, going into the final fight when, I was hoping that I could just preserve it all.
Yeah, I mean, by the sounds of it, you attacked on 46 and got smacked?
Oh, yeah. I mean, at that point, I had no shot, so I had to go for that.
Yeah,
but the issue was the mini boss. I mean, I'm not sure, like after the huge ambush attack, I just didn't think I was going to be able to get him before having to heal, so I just tried to reset the fight, but it didn't work out.
Yep. This match did play out very similarly to your first one, up2ng breaking out to a bit of an early lead because he found Breckenary right off the bat and cashed out his 560 that he got from the first chest for a hand axe. So he was able to work another early lead.
Yeah, that's not super surprising. I mean, I guess had I even found it, I didn't get enough money for a hand axe, so I would have had to do a full reset. And literally, again, I explored west, I explored east, and I explored north. And I didn't quite go south enough to see that frickin' town in that swamp. And I'm thinking, please don't have a hand axe. Please don't have a hand axe. And then it did. And I was like, well, I bought a club. And then I just chilled and literally like fought enemies to get hand axe money. I felt like that was the only thing I could do.
Did you ever consider resetting when you found that hand axe at level 3? Because there were scorpions around, so you probably could have got that level back like within a couple minutes.
Yeah, we were like 8.5 minutes in though. I just felt like, you know what, that's so committal. Like, I decided to fight it out for a little bit. Like, what if the next level has hurt more and then it doesn't even matter, right? It's like,
I was looking for hurt more for a long time, I'll tell you that. when you watch and see how I played it. I was fishing for hurt more for a really long time.
I was fishing for anything.
Yeah, you both took a nice residence in the same beachfront property for a long time. It was pretty good, beautiful 3 squares of desert that you both visited.
Yeah, I think you just basically bought that property and called it your own for the first about 40 minutes of the match.
So that was the wolf zone on the east, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The wolf metal scorpion zone.
Oh man, I did 2 damage to a metal slime in the east zone fairly early on. That was pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah, we were joking about you being like, oh, this metal slime, 2 damage. This could make the experience gap up. No.
Yeah.
I found a few later on in the race, and I never ended up defeating one. So,
Same
they
here.
were pretty scared today.
That's fair, at least. That's fair.
I mean, there were scared metal slime flag on, so it makes sense.
Yeah, so they told me that you only found this sword like 3 minutes before me. I mean, when I saw where it was, I thought I was just dead because it the keys led pretty much directly to it.
Yeah, but you needed to get a key, and I didn't find Rimmildar until very, very late. In fact, like Rimmildar and Cantlin were the last things I found because I tried going south there, I think a few times, and just got smashed by red dragons. The first key I actually got was in the freaking tablet cave. That's how far away it was.
Yeah, up2ng actually found Rimmildar pretty much the same exact moment you found the key inside the tablet cave. So, or maybe like 1 minute later or something. So he had found that zone earlier, but it took him for a while to both of you to get across the swamp cave to get this.
Yeah, I guess I'm glad that I decided to try and explore that second continent. That probably made it for me.
So there's some red dragons on that map. Did you enjoy them all?
Well, I was wondering if I was ever going to be able to run away from one of them the entire seed. I think it took like 12 of them for like me to get my first success. It was pretty annoying to say the least.
Yeah, I found on one of my brief forays, I didn't venture out very much, but I went out 1 or 2 times, and on one of those times I did find a red dragon. And I mean, I just refused to deal with that, so I grinded up to level 12 before I went out. So by the time I went out, I was just fighting red dragons.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Was that the level you got heal more on?
Yeah. I mean, I've played too many seeds where you just run out there and you just don't have the spells, you don't have the stats, you don't have the equipment, and there just isn't anything good to fight. Like on the 2 or 3 trips out, I wasn't finding any wolf lords or any druid lords or just anything. So it's just like, you know what? I'm just not going to go out there and just run into a bunch of red dragons. I refuse.
Yeah, that's definitely less stressful. I was pretty paranoid because I saw that there was a magic armor and a silver shield in Breckenary. And I was like, if I find a key and I can do a gold grind, man, I could be set. Because without heal, defense is so important. So I ventured a bit further and paid fairly dearly for it. But eventually, like, we got our keys at the same time. So, and it turns out there was only a Death Necklace gold grind anyway. So, meh.
So yeah, this match was pretty much dead even at the point where both of you were in go mode. But one thing up2ng never did was check what was in the swamp cave. And there was a red dragon in the swamp cave also, and you were able to take advantage of farming those red dragons a little bit earlier and being able to get back to them faster. And that's where you started to get the experience lead. And you were pretty much, you hit 16 as up2ng hit 15, and you both dove at the same, well, up2ng dove probably 30 to 60 seconds before, but because of the lower level, it was just, and having to burn that early heal more or on the trap tile, it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, and I got totally MisterHomes encounter rated the instant I decided to leave Garinham. I feel like 5 encounters between Garinham and Sharlock, and I got 4 encounters in Sharlock in my first 10 steps. I was just going insane.
That's awesome. Yeah, because at least for me, I didn't have any spirit magic to cast Repel right there, so it was like really frustrating just making that last march to Sharlock. I know I'm on my level. We had exactly 6 to spare before using a heal more, so I used that to cast outside through the swamp cave, you know, and then we just didn't have any left. So
you said 6 spare MP, right?
Right.
What's infuriating is the next level only gave 1.
No,
God damn it!
not enough for an extra heal more. Wow, that's funny. Well, yeah, GG. I'm just definitely sometimes grinding the extra level pays off. I guess this was one of those cases.
Yeah, I knew it was.
Very
It
nice.
was so close. What made the difference for me was the low-ish agility. Like we had 81, and so I was like, I've seen
That's
it
what made me
where-
go for it. I was like,
Oh, really?
81,
I was
that's
like-
great.
But I mean, I only had a large shield. I'm not sure about you, but I was like, I didn't think we would get many, if any, double attacks just because of that. Like 122 is right on the border of where you get them reliably. And then the mini boss too, right? It's just like, I didn't want to lose out in the tournament that way. So I was like, I'm going to take 4 minutes and I'm going to grind this level out and hope it's a giant one, but we only got 4 power and maybe like 1 agility and 7 HP. Not quite enough for the death necklace either. It's like, it's frustrating, but.
Well, I can't wait for tomorrow night. I hope everybody in chat enjoyed the race. Sounds like it was another good one. And yeah, tomorrow everybody should come back and watch.
So if we scheme things so that we get overtime, that's a good idea, right?
Yeah, we'll have to sync that up.
Well, I mean, you're already pretty close to getting overtime because you both were fighting the Dragon Lord at the same time.
So what are the official overtime rules again? I thought it was anything within 10 seconds, but maybe that just is the retime.
Anything within 5 seconds is retimed. Anything within 1 second is overtime, where you basically roll up new seeds with very fast experience, and the first person to level 10 wins.
Nice.
But any last thoughts on your race tonight, Mr. Holmes? up2ng.
So win or loss, I'm just pumped that there's a game 3, and I'm sure it's going to be fantastic, and just can't wait. Can't wait.
Yep, should be fun. Tomorrow night, we don't have to wait long. And thanks to the crew, as always. It's much appreciated to put on the restream for us and for the viewers. So everybody that volunteered their time, thanks for that. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
Same comment. You did a perfect job of putting it.
Okay, Demarine, I think that's it for us tonight. Gonna put a bow tie on this, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we said that if up2ng won that you'd wrap it up, but I guess since MisterHomes won and we are going to a game 3 again, please come out tomorrow night here on RPG Limit Break, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. The grand finals will wrap up with game 3 of 3 between MisterHomes and up2ng in the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament 2019 Grand Final race. At this time, we are going to go ahead and we are going to hitch up our horses and take the wagon over to Randomania 2, where Final Fantasy IV for Enterprise is having their Friday night weekly race, and I've heard that it's a bad one.
Yeah, have a good night, everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow night with Furon Burgundy and Z-Man 050778 on the mics.